heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. Yeah, 9/11, it's a heist, stole my heart, gave me life. No, I'm right, baby, I don't get my type wrong, yeah. She 11 with the lights on, yeah. 5 minutes just like a python. Breathing right into my lungs. I took a hit, it's a crib, see my medicine. Before it's all said and done, too precious for the night, just gotta wake you up. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. I'm breaking, God lights, baby, I'm racing. 'Cause you're the only music I'm facing. You gon' leave my heart sedated, yeah. She just got it, but she wanted. Fell from heaven, she a weapon when she comes to me. I find it comforting. Though I'm blowing, she got me restrained, buffering, yeah. I sold the plans for your demands. I need the spare cash to pay my rent. I'm suffering, still confident, break me loose, stay good news, baby. I'm heading over to the spot, pick you up around 9. Meet me in the parking lot, never make it inside. We're getting out of here tonight. Yeah, we'll go anywhere you like. I'm no breaking, God lights, baby, I'm racing. 'Cause you're the only.
Wow, that was... I had a thing and now I forgot it. Welcome. Hi, how you doing? Hi everyone, and hello all you BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to what has felt like forever, but it's only really been a week, to another rendition of the All Elite Ensemble review, your weekly AEW review show here on the BC WrestlePod conglomeration network, syndicate, broadcasting channel, whatever you want to call it these days. We do a lot here. It's fantastic. I am one of your hosts, Mikey, and of course, joining me this evening is going to be a trifecta of craziness here, because joining me this evening is the team of ANA, Adolfo, and HR Alice is in the house. I'm so happy. I've missed you guys. It's really been only a week, but I've missed seeing you, all y'all beautiful faces.
We missed you too.
Also, I'm happy that everyone is doing better and feeling better, because we are in the middle of October, which is prime time for germs and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So wash your hands and drink lots of water, kids, and take your vitamins.
Your vitamins.
Your vitamins. I wish I took some vitamins to feel better of how this week's AEW went, but we will get into that, because there was some great stuff on some shows and lots of questions on some other ones, which we will dissect in a little bit. But if you are new here to BC WrestlePod, welcome for joining us. Say hi to us in the chat. We'd love to engage with you. But you can follow us on all the social medias, anywhere and everywhere, from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Next Level app houses all of our social medias at BC WrestlePod. There's a YouTube channel. There's a Twitch. There is also a Patreon that once that, gets some, folks who be like, let me see what's behind the scenes shenanigans these folks get up into. I promise that is going to be worth your time. You can see all our unhinged watch along videos. It is out of control. Do you want to see a whole bunch of grown men and Atlas act like 5-year-olds when crazy things happen in professional wrestling? Go to the Patreon, because the last watch along that I uploaded has me and Andrew screaming like little 6-year-olds during GCW Homecoming, as well as me, Professor, and Adolfo talking about the finer things that was All Out too. So it is a fantastic time for sure. And then, of course, if you missed our Bad Blood review yesterday, there's a plethora of PLEs coming up this month, which is out of control, which, I'm just going to quickly go through. Wrestle Dream is coming up shortly, which we'll talk about tonight. But we are covering AEW Wrestle Dream on the 14th. The 17th is GCW's Fight Club. We are doing a live watch along of MLP's Forged in Excellence on the 20th with a review on the 24th. And then we end the month off with craziness before Spoopy season on Halloween, a watch along on the 26th for TNA's Bound for Glory. And then the review on the 27th. And then we end the month of October with NXT's Halloween Havoc. It is about to get crunk up in here, as the kids say.
Not WCW Halloween Havoc.
NXT's Halloween Havoc. I mean, they're just basically taking all the WCW stuff, because NXT has Halloween Havoc, No Mercy, In Your House. It's kind of nuts. But we are not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about AEW, All Elite Wrestling. Yes. As tonight we will recap last week's show, and then we're just going to talk about our predictions for Wrestle Dream, because that's coming up this weekend. AEW, we'll talk about it when we get there. But if you are new here to the channel, remember, these are our opinions. It is okay if you disagree. Just be nice in the chat. Otherwise, you will be blocked, bamboozled. Good day, you lose, sir and madam, and non-binary folks of the internet. All right, let's get started with all of this. So,
wait, Mikey. News first. I
was the cloud that was the depression that Dynamite fogged up and made me forget. But before I get into talking about my depression that was Dynamite, I'm gonna, just the tip, Adolfo. Just the tip right there. Adolfo has some breaking news for us that we're gonna cover first before I talk about my depression. So, Adolfo, take it away.
Not so much breaking, but it's the ongoing saga of the AEW Warner Brothers distribution deal for AEW's TV time. But before we do that, I do just want to say that this edition of All Elite Ensemble is brought to you by Frank Mortos, attorney at law. Have you been injured by Tope or misdone Hurricane Rada? Then please contact Frank Mortos, attorney at law. Roar, grumble, roar. Now that we got that out of the way. So, last week it looks like the AEW did officially sign their TV deal with Warner Brothers Distribution. This looks to be a multi-year, multimedia rights deal. It looks like the sticking point was streaming and where AEW was going to go on streaming. But I'm going to read you the report from Forbes. AEW has officially signed a new multi-year multimedia rights deal with Warner Brothers Distribution. According to sources, the deal will see AEW Dynamite and Collision remain on TBS and TNT respectively. There was no mention of AEW Rampage, however. AEW is heavily rumored to debut a new show on Fox, likely to be titled AEW Shockwave. AEW programming will also stream live on Max simultaneously for U.S. subscribers and will be available to stream on demand at a discount price for subscribers starting January 2025. Okay, so TLDR, what does that mean? It looks like the night that Dynamite and Collision aren't changing. As a matter of fact, it's being added to because it looks like when they air Dynamite and Collision on their respective channels, that they're going to be also airing it on HBO Max. My only question with that, which there was no clarification, is when the other channels go to picture in picture or go to commercial break, if HBO Max is going to continue the stream, kind of like when you watch it on Fight TV or whatnot. I didn't see anything about pay-per-views. I do know that was one big talking point, that the pay-per-views move from Bleacher Report to HBO Max. Bleacher Report, if you are an HBO Max subscriber, you would know that Bleacher Report is already on HBO Max. So, it's not that much of a hop for the AEW pay-per-views to go there. However, that was not mentioned, so that's still in the dark. As the report said, we still officially don't know what's happening to Rampage. We still don't know anything about this new show, Shockwave, or we don't know what Shockwave is going to be. This is just speculation. We do know that the AEW library will be available on HBO Max starting 2025. It looks like that's going to be the whole discounted price thing for subscribers. So if you're an HBO Max subscriber, it's going to be like one of those add-on things. You'll be able to stream the AEW library. So that's what we have so far with the AEW Warner Brothers distribution deal. I mean, to be honest, it's big news, as it stands, not to dredge up old ghosts, but AEW is now going to be surpassing WCW as the other big contender, if you will, for WWE. I know that there's constantly like comparisons thrown back and forth between WCW and AEW, but with this deal, this cements that AEW isn't going anywhere for a while, unless something like ridiculous happens. Yeah, and I think this is exciting. So
it definitely is. I hope Rampage doesn't go away, but who knows what's gonna happen with all that, because Rampage right now is where all the fun stuff happens.
Yeah, so it's like that's where all the fun stuff is.
Hopefully, if we do lose Rampage, I'm hoping that Shockwave is what is going to, be our Rampage where all the fun stuff goes, but maybe elevate it with that Warner Brother budget, maybe, and do some more crazy stuff, which I would love to see.
Yeah.
But also, they're not waiting until 2025 to start putting these pay-per-views on HBO Max, because I have learned the hard way this week that Bleacher Report is not going to be doing any of the remaining AEW pay-per-views. So I have to go to Fight. So Fight TV is what we're going to use for all of us to watch Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, and World's End. So they just wait. They're like, pull the plug right now.
Interesting. I'll have to look at that. All right.
I mean, I already do Fight TV for GCW, but I have to buy those pay-per-views like I would on Bleacher Report. But,
right,
we're still going to be able to watch it because there's a lot of wrestling this week. But Adolfo, we're going to tag me back in.
Just a tip. There we go.
Yes, just a tip. Random thing, but now my finger looks like a sausage when I get close to my camera. Anyways. So now that we've talked about that, let's get back to talking about my depression from the week.
Dynamite.
So I will admit, because I say depression, but as the show went on, it got better for me. But I was really hot after what started the show for us. So First, we get a cold open, as I call it, because we just get this pre-tape video promo of everybody outside in the former BCC, which could be the Switchblade conspiracy, according to reports of copyright and whatnot. So we're gonna call them the Switchblade conspiracy. So the Switchblade conspiracy cuts this promo, which includes Mox, Marina Shafir, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli. Mox is being all ominous again about this. Is like he has to be the one to retire Danielson, and it wasn't until the end of the show where we kind of find out, oh, Mox might be working for somebody else too. Like, so I'm just like, what could it be? So I was like, all right, Mox, this is not the last time we're gonna see you tonight. So I'm just putting pin in that and later. Because then what should have been a really cool match, and it was until we got to the ending of the first time they had this match, because then they restarted it. Spoiler alert. But we had an AEW International Championship match, Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. As excited as I was, we talked about it last time, why are we hot-shotting this match for the championship so soon? Without, why? So the match itself was actually really fun. And I know some people don't like flippy dippy stuff, but I was like, I don't care. This was great. Will Ospreay and Ricochet are amazing. And then the match went back and forth. They did all the things. It was fantastic. Then we get a double pinned, 3 counts. So both of them technically pinned each other. And so initially it was going to end in a draw. But then Tony Khan's like, no, let's restart this match right now. We get 2 minutes into it. And then we get a DQ finish because Konosuke Takeshita is like, hold the phone. Let me just ruin the party right now, and just takes out Will and Ricochet. And we get an ending shot of Takeshita holding up the International Championship. The first match that we got was awesome. I hated how we restarted it and got a DQ finish. You should have just had the DQ finish from the get-go if this was how it was going to be. It's stupid. And I was mad at why are we doing this to everybody involved? This is what happens when you hotshot a feud you should have waited on before you pull the trigger to have the match. I'm just saying.
I disagree, and I will be alone on my island, and I'm okay with that. I actually thought that the DQ into the match restart and then Takeshita coming out added a new angle to it, and for me. Anytime I have Takeshita on the screen is a good time. Number one. What I'm hoping is that Takeshita gets the title. So, probably won't happen. But we'll see.
I mean, that's one way to think about it. I'm just mad of one, because Ricochet hasn't even been here he's only been here for a month at best, really, if we're going to be honest about it. Then on top of that, you decide to have this match between Will and Ricochet. So somebody was going to lose, but then in order to prevent either one of them from losing, you have Takeshita cause this DQ. And now we get a triple threat at Wrestle Dream. Make it make sense, AEW. I hate this. I really do. And I would be less mad at it if this is the direction we're going. But I'm going to bring this up for the rest of this review at certain spots for Dynamite and a little bit of Collision. The last 3 weeks of special shows have really hurt any storytelling build for Wrestle Dream. So there are certain matches that are getting told and getting built up correctly. And then there's this one where this match is going to slap at Wrestle Dream. But it was, in my opinion, and we're far enough, this piss poor storytelling building. And Tony Khan stated that, there's no such thing as long-term storytelling. I just look at you. I was like, sir, do we need to go back and review the tape for Tony and Mariah May? This has been a year of storytelling in the making. What you mean long-term storytelling doesn't exist in 2024? How dare you? Which means to tell me, I wonder if it had anything to do with Mariah and Tony wanting to pad this out as long as possible. But I digress. Anyway, either way, I'm excited for the triple threat at Wrestle Dream between these three. I think is going to absolutely smack.
It will. Yep.
So then, very interesting enough, we get a Mercedes Moné and Camille spot backstage where, Mercedes does her thing where she shouts out the city's name, cuts a promo, gets interrupted by MVP of all people, and MVP gives Mercedes a business card. I was like,
Yeah, I don't
Now,
know
this
how
is
I feel about that.
So I was like, interesting. But I'm like you, Alice. I don't know how to feel about this because on the one hand, if they do it right, it could be fun. But because I haven't liked anything that Mercedes has done so far since an AEW, I don't know if putting her in a faction is going to help.
Yeah.
But that changes not because of Mercedes, but of who is feuding with her currently. That is like, we're going to talk about you in a little bit, Miss Statlander, when we get to you a little later in the show. But MVP and Mercedes, it should be interesting. Which then brings us to another backstage spot after we get back from commercial. The Guns are talking about how they're going to be in Juice's corner against Hangman for the show. Which, by the way, I forgot to mention, this is the 5th anniversary show, but this does not feel like it, so we'll talk about it as we continue. And then aggro Hangman Page comes out and destroys the Guns and just decimates them backstage, and that's where we cut the camera. I'm like, well, all right. I don't want to talk about this next thing, but we have to. Hi, guys. Because we get an in-ring segment. This is TV time with the Learning Tree. You know, thankfully, Big Bill does most of the talking, which Large William, we love you here in this household. We love you so much. But, and this is where things started to get screwy. And then this is where my depression truly started for me. Because Chris Jericho, given the fact that Mark Briscoe got pinned at Grand Slam Collision, Chris Jericho's like, I want a challenge for the ROH World Championship. And then everything just went black for me because I was just like, noise was canceled out. My eyesight went black. But I was like, no, I don't want the possibility of Chris Jericho being our ROH champion. Which then brought out Mark Briscoe in his normal Mark Briscoe fashion, being, excited, over the top Tasmanian devil. And then my heart sunk a little bit further because Chris Jericho went there and he talked about Jay Briscoe and made it personal. And I was just like, this is
really cheap.
I was like, ooh. I was like, Chris Jericho, how dare you? But also, yes, give me a reason to hate you more. Like, give me a hate. Let me hate you even more. Because this was like true Chris Jericho heel, where he's like, I am a POS, and then we're going to have it this way. Mark Briscoe gets mad. He reacts accordingly by decking Jericho in the face, telling Jericho to keep his brother's name out his mouth, and he accepts his challenge, and come WrestleDream, he's going to give him a Briscoe ass whooping, and that is how the segment ends.
I'm excited to see
that. And I hope he does.
Yep.
I
hope
see
he
that.
does. He better, because if Chris Jericho wins this ROH World Championship, I may cancel my subscription to Ring of Honor. I'm just putting it out there. Well, actually, I probably shouldn't, because Mark is barely on Ring of Honor anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just don't want Jericho to become ROH champ again, you guys. I really don't want that in my life. I already have enough problems.
Yeah. That wouldn't be good. But let's keep going. Let's not talk about no more talking about.
We'll dissect that more when we get into our predictions for WrestleDream.
Yep.
So Darby cuts a promo, and this is, this is a week after he lost his championship. So he retells a story about a time when he's young now, but younger, where these guys were spitting on him and like messing with him. And so Darby confronted him. They pulled the switchblade, and Darby's like, I guess I'm getting stabbed tonight, with the message being that he's going to fight anybody who wants to make a name off of Darby's back. And so in this promo, Darby lays out an open challenge for WrestleDream. Anybody in the locker room can come face to face with him and try to make a name for themselves off of Darby's back. And that's where we leave that. I was like, I'm still a little sad that you lost your championship opportunity, Darby, but hey, maybe we're going at this point. Granted, this is Dynamite. I was like, hey, you know what? Maybe we debut somebody who just signed, or, right. Rumor having it might be Bobby Lashley taking on Darby Allin. So we'll see what happens with all of that.
Yeah.
We'll revisit that when we get to Collision.
Yep, we'll get that.
So, but at this point, I was like, ooh, okay, at least Darby's going to be on the show, because it'd be a crime not to have one of your Washington natives be in Washington for a pay-per-view. Just putting it out there. Granted, this was like 35 minutes, you guys. And then finally, we get our second match of the evening, which was Hangman Adam Page versus Let the Juice Loose, Juice Robinson. I actually really like this match, you guys. Juice was the best part for me in this whole entire match. Like, they fought through the crowd. He grabbed a drink. He grabbed someone's popcorn and like decked Hangman Page in the face with it.
Did see that.
Juice is I'm so happy he's back from injury. Juice Robinson is just on another level. And this was actually a really good match. Juice was the best part. I love Hangman, but Juice was the best part. But unfortunately, Hangman does win. And then Hangman tries to Hangman Juice Robinson with his own belt, like try to choke the man. And then this is where I got excited because we got the return of the Switchblade, Jay White. He comes in to rescue Juice Robinson. Our Kiwi is back. He from injury. And it looks like we're getting Hangman and Jay White feuding. And I'm like, yes.
Yup.
That's going to be good.
I've missed Jay White so much. And that fact that he's feuding with Hangman was great. But that was the match itself. Alice and Adolfo, any thoughts about the match itself or the return of Mr. Switchblade, Jay White?
Excited that Jay White's back. We missed, at least I've missed Switchblade. I don't know if you've missed Greasy or not.
No.
But
I did not miss him.
Yeah. My only hope is that if they do this rivalry with Hangman, that it's not just a one and done thing. I want this to be spread out. You know, give me like part 3, part 4. You know what I mean?
I wanted Juice and Hangman to feud for a little bit before Jay White came back. But that's not going to happen.
Right.
So, but it'll be fine. As long as we get some more crazy Juice stuff, it's fine.
Let the juice loose.
Yeah, let the juice loose.
I love it so much. But hey, Bullet Club Gold is back, you guys. So it makes me actually really excited. This is going to be fun.
Yep.
So now we get to the point of the evening where I finally have my first Will note to talk about. Oh, no, I missed the first one. He's like, I hate Chris Jericho. And I wrote back to him, we do too.
We all do.
So, Will, you're welcome. Will, you're welcome anytime because he was supposed to be here tonight, but circumstances prevented him. Then his second note was because this is where we get backstage, where the scapegoat bus drives up backstage. And Will's note to me was, wow, Jack Perry is actually kind of cute. My response is, stay away from the scapegoat. He is trouble.
He's the son of Luke Perry. What do you? Of course he's gonna be. Of course he's cute.
See, okay, and then I told Will that, and he's just like, "Oh, okay." Now I doubly love him. I'm like, "Stay away, down, boy, down." But we have Jack Perry roll up in the scapegoat bus. You know, he is about to do a backstage interview with Renee, but then coming out of frame, we get Mr. Google Translate himself, Katsuyori Shibata, come in. I love Katsuyori Shibata. And then he presses the play button on Google Translate, and Google Translate challenges Jack Perry to a TNT championship match at Wrestle Dream. Jack Perry tells Katsuyori Shibata he'll think about it, walks off for like 5 seconds, jumps back into frame to ambush Katsuyori Shibata, and then tells him he accepts. So we get another match made for Wrestle Dream, and I was like, okay, this actually might be a pretty good match. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I love Shibata and the Google Translate. They need to get monetized with that. Google support Katsuyori Shibata and his translate.
Right.
Fantastic. So backstage, we get a Bryan Danielson promo where the main takeaway is fuck Jon Moxley, and that is it.
Moving on.
I was like, perfect. So, okay, you guys, this might actually be my match of the night for me personally. But we get Britt Baker DMD versus Serena Deeb. And Britt had probably the coolest entrance this week on AEW, coming through the tunnel with the yellow towel that the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Darrow towel. Yes. This was the coolest entrance. The camera shot was amazing. This is her hometown because this is happening in Pittsburgh. The match was awesome. I actually really enjoyed it. And for me personally, this was my match of the night. It would have been our main event, but it went like 25 minutes too long because this was like a 50-minute match. Went on for way too long for me. But this was fantastic. Britt and Serena go back and forth. Serena Deeb doing a lot of submission-based stuff. Not to say that I dislike Britt Baker's wrestling, but this is definitely, since her return, this is the best match that she has had so far. And I don't know if it's because now that she's kind of shaken off the ring rust, or it's because she's working with someone like Deeb.
I was going to say, I think it's because Serena Deeb is a better dance partner for her. Right. I think so far we've seen people who she's not really compatible with, the people that she's not really comfortable with. And we finally got her with somebody that she can perform well with. So I think a little bit of ring rust, but I also think partnered with the right person.
I also feel that, she was in front of her home crowd, so that also adds a little
comfortability. Yeah.
Yep.
And so the crowd's right behind her. Britt Baker does pull out the victory, which I love. Deeb goes to attack Britt Baker. And then we talked a little bit about this off camera, but I feel like somebody else is booking the women's division because, oh my gosh, we're continuing a women's feud. Because who comes down to save Britt Baker D&D but to Miss Queen Aminata herself?
Yeah.
She comes down to save Britt to chase off Serena Deeb. And it seems that Deeb and Aminata are not quite done yet, which makes me excited because my biggest critique and our biggest critique is they always do one and done women's feuds and then that's it. But we're going to get a continuing feud, as it seems like, from these two, which makes me excited. And you know what? Queen and Britt Baker as kind of like a quasi, on friendly terms next week. Kind of excited for the possibilities. Because there's also another duo lurking in the shadows who is going to become a big problem for the women's division down the line.
Yep.
So then we get to a backstage segment because we are told that prior to the show starting, somebody attacked Taz. And so Hook does his best, oh my gosh, my dad got an attack promo, which was not
my dad.
Exactly. It was not
my dad.
Alice,
it definitely wasn't me.
Deeper voice.
It definitely wasn't me.
This promo sucked, you guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hook cannot act to save his life.
Yeah.
I'm like, this was not great. You can't be a hard-ass character and then it's so frustrating. But then I felt that it was not ironic that they played this Christian Cage promo right after this. And basically, he didn't say the words, but it's like, I attacked your father, Hook. We about to fight. I was like, tell me why it's Christian Cage, you guys. Let's be honest. The patriarchy are the ones attacking folks right now in AEW. So I'm pretty sure the patriarchy attacked Taz because now he wants to make Hook fatherless, I guess.
I think it's a better story if Hook is the one who attacked his dad.
That would be a twist that I'd actually be kind of here for.
Or with Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe. Oh no.
I mean, hey, Samoa Joe's embodying a Yakuza character in the new Yakuza game, so why not?
Yep.
I want Joe's life. Be a wrestler and also do mode cap for video games. He's so fun. I love it. So then backstage, Mariah May is cutting a promo because also she was watching Britt Baker and Serena Deeb's match in the crowd. So then she talks about how no woman on the roster is ready, which then prompts Willow Nightingale to come and, get in Mariah's face for what it went down at Grand Slam. And I was like, oh, Mariah May, what did you do? You made Willow curse, which is crazy because Willow called Mariah a bitch and then they started to brawl. Yeah. I was like, ooh, Willow is big mad because she dropped a curse word. But hey, you know what? Willow versus Mariah, if that's what we're getting, I'm kind of here for it, which makes me excited.
Nope.
So then we get into our squash match of the evening, which is, oh my God, is that Private Party? They changed their theme song and I'm mad.
They did.
I was like, what is this? I was like, I'm going to miss shots, you guys. But yeah, oh my God, it's Private Party. Spend less than 5 minutes squatching. I feel bad for these boys, but they take on the Iron Savages, and this was a squash match. Not my boys of the Iron Savages, but Private Party do pick up the win, so I'm sad, but I'm also kind of glad. And then I love Private Party more. Yeah, it's sad. But then I loved Private Party even more because they're tired of being background characters because they get on the mic and they're like, you know what? We've beaten the Bucks before, so Matthew, Nicholas, get your ass out here. Let's fight for these titles. We want a shot at your championships. I'm like, let's go, Private Party. That was the time. Tony Khan, don't. So we'll talk about it during our predictions. But Matthew and Nicholas come out, and then they're on the black box that is the top of the stage with just the lighting. And they're just like, we could totally give you that match, but we're not going to waste it here in this podunk town. So then Christopher Daniels makes it for Collision that we're going to get a match. Winner of said match on Collision gets a shot at the Bucks title at Wrestle Dream. So, but I'm like, I hated the Iron Savages got squashed here, but yay for pushing Private Party.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about time. The fact they have yet to win a tag team championship and go on a run with it is nuts in the 5 years they've been here.
Yep.
So next, backstage, MVP is about to make his announcement. Prince Nana, Swerve When I Drive, interrupts. And
you said some pretty strong words in New York City, Nana says.
And Nana's like, you forget that I was a wrestler at one point, so let me lace up these boots and smack you around a little bit. I was like, yes, I'm here for Angry Nana. But MVP is like, hey, bro, this sounds like a complaint. Let me introduce you to the complaint department. And we get the AEW television debut of Mr. Shelton Benjamin, which I'm like, yes, I love Shelton so much. And he takes Nana to the side and is like, hey, you know what? Let's go talk for a little bit. Like, it's like if you have
Nana's coffee cup.
It's like, this is pretty good coffee. I was like, yes.
Just takes it.
So we have MVP, we have Shelton Benjamin, and then in recent reports too, Mr. Bubbles Lashley has signed with AEW. So we're getting the Hurt Business in AEW, which makes me really excited.
Not to spend too long, but there was a report that Powerhouse Hobbs has been cleared to come back. So do we think that Powerhouse Hobbs can get like wrapped up into that?
Yes, because I actually think Hobbs would be a perfect fit for Shelton and Bobby. And, he can learn, not to say that Hobbs is not great as a wrestler, because he's fantastic, but being able to be mentored by 3 legends, and let alone 3 African-American legends in the business, from MVP to Shelton to Bobby, who is probably like the most like versatile big man wrestler that I have witnessed, because the man is huge. He has power, but he also has speed, and he has hops too. So, which is what Hobbs is kind of a smaller version and a younger version of Bobby in my eyes. But yes, I know people are like, don't put all the black wrestlers together, but in this case, I'm okay with it, because Shelton, Bobby, and Powerhouse Hobbs alone would make me give them my lunch money, because I'm like, don't hurt me.
Yep. Nation of Domination. I'm sorry. We can move
on. Oof. Anyways, so then we get into our 50-minute main event. This thing went on 30 minutes past the overrun. But okay, let me run this stipulation down, because when this was announced and I texted the group thread, I said this was stupid. And in hindsight, it was still stupid, because we have an AEW World Championship and an AEW Continental Championship. Both of these championships are on the line. However, Okada's Continental Championship is only up for grabs in the first 20 minutes, which means if Danielson cannot pin Okada in 20 minutes, then the Continental Championship cannot be taken from Okada past the 20-minute mark. Spoiler alert, Okada did not lose the title within the first 20 minutes. So that championship was no longer on the line, but Danielson's championship was always on the line from the beginning. I'm going to be honest, in hindsight, I thought this was a fantastic match. Okada and Danielson are always going to do it for me.
Right.
But this went on way too long. I don't think we needed the 30 extra minutes of the overrun. We could have cut it down to like maybe 10 or 15 and still been okay with that. And that's me as a big Danielson and Okada fan, because the last 2 matches these two have had have also been fantastic. My issue with this one is I felt like it went on for way too long. Yeah. I still enjoyed it, but for me, I'm just sitting there. I was like, it's almost 8:00. Y'all got to wrap this up. Like, come on now. So, but Danielson retains his championship. Okada retains his championship. Danielson wins. Before we get into what happened afterwards, how do we feel about this match itself? Or at least the parts you saw?
Too long.
Yeah. And I understand that they're trying to like heighten that that sense of urgency, where for the first 20 minutes, Okada's belt is on the line. It's kind of, I feel like they're trying to run it along the same lines as in the match Relampago in CMLL, when they put the timer up on the screen and you see the time ticking down. But I think it would have worked better if both belts were just on the line, period. Like, we would have still gotten to the same story, the same ending. You know what I mean? So that's it.
I still thought it was a fantastic match, but
yeah.
I'm just like, this went on for way too long. But hey, the match itself was fantastic. Now let's talk about what happened at the end, because then Switchblade Conspiracy comes out. They beat up Danielson. Mox gets on the mic and says, "It's like, I have to be the one to end you. I have to retire you. It has to be me." And I was just like, this sounds like somebody's pulling your strings, Mox. And literally, without saying somebody else is controlling us behind the scenes, somebody is controlling this group from behind the scenes. And I know a lot of people say it's Shane McMahon. I hope that's not the case. I've also heard like TNA wrestler Sami Callihan, who has a history with Mox running around the scenes, but he's currently signed to TNA, so I don't know how that would work. But we know somebody is pulling the strings. My biggest worry is this becomes the Devil 2.0, where we wait way too long to reveal who it is, and then when it's revealed, we're like, we kind of knew that, and then you fuck it up afterwards.
Spoilers, it's the Repo Man.
Oh, God. But that was not the end of this, though, because as this is happening, we have my favorite part. Sad Boy Wheeler Yuta comes out and clears the ring to save Danielson, and then challenges Pac and Claudio to a 2-on-2 match with Wheeler teaming up with Danielson to take on Pac and Claudio, which is happening tonight on Title Tuesday.
Yep.
I was super excited. I can't wait to watch this, which is probably happening right now.
Yep.
We'll talk afterwards, because NXT also blew up the internet right now because somebody made their debut, which has me super excited. But that is AEW Dynamite. Overall, the show started off. It slowly got better with some questionable stuff, and then the ending was fun, but it went on for way too long. But that is going to be my reports on AEW Dynamite. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Bravo,
all right,
bravo.
Now I pass it off, so we're going to touch the tip once again, and we are going to switch it on over to our next co-host, because we go into the land of AEW Rampage this week, which, Alice, I was pleasantly surprised because this was a stacked women's show. Can we just make Rampage a women's show, please? I'm here for all of it.
This was a stacked women's show. I was very excited about this. So Rampage, October 4th. We had a fun opening match, which was a trios match with the Young Bucks and Jack Perry versus Private Party and Shibata. I wasn't really sure what the aim was for this. I think it was to build up a little bit of the tension between Jack Perry and Shibata as they're approaching their fight. And then I kind of liked the Young Bucks seemed to be a little impressed by Private Party. So I thought that was some interesting storytelling there. But yeah, what comes away, our Private Party comes away with the win.
Yep.
Very happy with that. I love Private Party. Like you had mentioned earlier, I really hope they get their chance at a title run, because they've been with this company for a very long time, and I think they deserve it. They've been really working really hard. It was also interesting to see, I'm not sure what's happening with Stokely. I'm a little mad that there was no buildup, right? He was managing Statlander. And now all of a sudden it looks like Stats dropped him and he's scouting Private Party, maybe, because they keep showing him like watching their DVDs or fights or whatever. And he was apparently watching, clapping when Private Party came away with the win. So maybe he's scouting them to be their manager next. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, you know, what was it? 2 weeks ago, we had that interesting like pre-tape thing where it was Stokely Hathaway sitting in front of a DVD player and a VCR watching tapes, you know, and now we have more Stokely Hathaway watching tapes. So, I mean, I'm interested to see where this is.
Where's this going?
Just as we said with the whole Devil 2.0, I don't want them to let it linger too long.
Yeah,
you know,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
So that was our opening. I thought this was a good opener.
Yep.
Next, we had a spot with Chris Statlander, where she's talking about, she's like going back to her roots, which again, I'm like, wait, are we getting a babyface turn? Where's Stokely? What's happening?
Right.
And then Camille interrupts her and it's like, oh, are you really the strongest? I hope they feud for a little bit. It does look like Statlander is going to go for the belt, but I want Camille and Statlander to fight a little bit. I would really like that. Almost directly afterwards, we had another spot with Harley talking about her match, but she seemed to be a little distracted by Saraya being incapacitated. I love Harley. Holy crap. Like, she's unhinged in the best way, and I love her character. I love her character choices. She was just like, right? Yes, I'm talking about my match, my upcoming match. Oh, yes.
She's grown a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like watching from week to week Harley Cameron's just evolution.
Yeah.
You know, it's been great.
Great. Really enjoying that.
Yep.
She's so good. With a little more experience, I hope they push her because I think Harley would be great.
I think, like, as she continues to grow, I think if she ends up turning on Saraya and then going with Jamie Hayter, I think that would be brilliant. But you know, I'm not writing these stories. I'm just watching. But I think that would be really, really fun. So then we do get to see the Brick House Camille squash. So she does actually go out and be in action. This match was like, I blinked and I think I missed it.
Yeah.
Like, it was very fast. So again, we're kind of trying to show how strong and intimidating and scary Camille is.
By beating up on little local talent, Zoe Lynn.
Yeah. So that was that.
Yeah. It was literally a spear done.
Yeah. This poor woman just like laid out. Then we go next to another spot.
Yes.
I'm like starting to reel. I'm like, how many spots are we getting? And this was Anna Jay. She was essentially just calling out the whole women's locker room, saying, again, kind of what she did last week. I've done all this stuff in Japan. I've grown, you know, come fight me. I'm ready. You know, I'll take it. Then another spot.
They just crammed everything in this episode.
Yeah, it was just
crammed spot. Where we got Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie talking about whatever faction they've got going. It really feels like Deanna's leaning into sort of like a Godfather type protection racket deal. Yep. Really really stoked to see where this goes.
Yeah.
I love Taya Valkyrie, and Deonna Purrazzo is like, I'm warming up to her. So this is going to be really, really fun to see where this goes. Now we have the match between Harley Cameron and Queen Aminata. And this match was a lot of fun. I really liked this match. They really were wrestling.
Yeah.
The two of them were really wrestling. And Queen did come away with the win. But like, again, and I think part of it is Harley's character. I kind of forget like that she can wrestle, but like
Yeah.
she does. She's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. And it was a really cool like contrast of styles because you had Queen and her power, which was on full show.
Yeah.
But then being countered by Harley and her quickness and dare I say ring acumen, you know.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
And then at the end, talk about like look extended and long storytelling. We're following up on rivalries and stuff. Serena Deeb comes in after Queen wins and is attacking Queen Aminata. She's focusing on the knee, trying to hurt her. And who comes out to protect her but Britt Baker
With the chair.
Which she did nothing with the chair.
No,
she
she
just
didn't.
ran.
No, but like I said, when it came to Dynamite, it seems that Britt is going to side with Aminata in this one, which makes me excited.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So it looks like Britt and Aminata are they're on the same side, and Serena Deeb was kind of scared off.
Yep.
Harley disappeared, but I'm not surprised by that. She's distressed about Soraya being incapacitated. So yeah, I'm not really excited about the Queen Serena Deeb thing. But I'm glad that they're not like just dropping it. You know, I'm glad that there kind of is some follow through, so we'll actually get some story. Even if it just kind of leads into the Britt Baker Deeb feud, at least they're all kind of involved in that.
Yeah. I'm actually enjoying this whole Serena Deeb heel turn, if we want to call it that. Because I feel like heel Serena Deeb, it works well with the type of way that she wrestles and with her submission and just like her punishing opponents. So Mikey, what do you think about Serena and her direction?
Well, like I said, when we were going over Dynamite, because it seems that we're going to be continuing with Queen as the face and Deeb being the heel in this feud, I think Serena to me works better as a heel because on paper, the character of a wrestler who knows 1,001 submission moves is a deadly thing. And if you make them a heel, they're even more dangerous. We already discussed that I think Serena just needs to work on her mic work a little bit. But again, 2 weeks ago when Deeb and Aminata went at it, and they just went at it like they were like marking to hit hard 2 weeks ago, I was like, I need this again. And it seems that we're getting there. So I'm excited. And like I said before, I think somebody else is booking these women storylines and the feuds and everything because it just feels different. And I'm super here for it.
Yeah. So after that match, we got another spot with the Acclaimed talking about their newly designed jacket from MXM and essentially just saying thank you for redesigning my jacket. And you guys are so silly. I can't believe you didn't know that was Daddy Ass the whole time.
His name is Hans.
So that was really fun. I'm loving that they leaned into that whole shtick. I kind of want a little bit of a little more MXM Acclaimed stuff because that was so much fun. So I'm really hoping we'll get some more of that. After that
it's our main event.
We had our main event, which was the conglomeration, Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy versus the Learning Tree, Bad Apple Brian Keith, and Large William, with Jericho on commentary, which is fine. I mean, he should stay there or maybe just not be on my screen. That would be fine too.
Right.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
It was a cool,
It was a cool match. It's so hard, right, to take down Large Williams.
Yes.
He is so much human being. There is just so much of him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, his doesn't his shorts say that? Don't they say too much man
Yep.
on them?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
because it's
It's
just
so good. Yeah.
it just is so much man.
He is.
He's so large.
Yeah.
But this was fun. I think Jericho did leave the commentary table to come and
He did
start
it.
do shenanigans and stuff.
Yeah. So at the end, he did come out from behind the announcers table to try to break up Kyle O'Reilly's leg lock. When the most boring wrestler in AEW, Rocky Romero, comes out and
that's right. Yeah.
fights off Chris Jericho. No, Mikey. No. He is boring Rocky Romero on AEW.
I will not be doing that. I will not be doing that to Rocky Romero because it's already hard enough to get brown folks on our AEW television screen. So don't do this to Rocky Romero. I will not do this to my own peoples.
But he's so okay. That's a conversation for another.
So the Azúcar Rocky Romero comes out and says, "Get out of my face, Jericho."
Yep.
And then Conglomeration comes away with the win.
Hey, you know what? Rampage was a good time.
It was a good time. Overall, good time.
Private Party won again in the same week.
Yes, and it was kind of like a sandwich. It was like long match, a bunch of promos. Like that's kind of how I felt like Rampage was. That's not necessarily bad, but it was a good time.
Yeah, this was one of the Rampages that the hour went by, and I when it ended, I was like, "It was an hour? Holy crap!" The nice thing, all the spots that they had, they knew they did their homework and they knew the assignment. They all stayed in their lane. They were all nice and short, concise, shared the info that needed to be shared, and we moved on. So it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Which
now, take me.
Just a tip.
Which brings us to Collision, which was another good show. Spoilers. So our first match was Darby Allin versus Johnny TV, which on paper doesn't seem like it would be a fun match, but it was. Darby Allin did end up with the win via coffin drop. Because I don't see Johnny TV a lot, I forget how good of a wrestler he is. He pulled some ridiculous moves so smoothly and then transitioned into an eye poke that was the most entertaining thing ever. This did have that thing that infuriates me with Darby though, in that the whole match, Johnny TV is just whooping on Darby. And then the last 5 minutes, Darby does 2-3 moves and 1, 2, 3 done. So what'd you think, babe?
I love Johnny TV. I always want him and Taya Valkyrie together because their shtick is just so funny to me. I think it's a great shtick. But yeah, he's a good wrestler, and I agree. I think with the Darby taking so long to get going, he is such a good wrestler. We don't need you to be throwing yourself all around the place where we're worried for your health and well-being. You can actually fight from the get-go, and it will still be entertaining. I promise.
Yes, indeed. Mikey, what'd you think of this match?
It was a match. I'm just kidding. No. So here's the thing. Anytime that we're building Darby, because anytime Darby ends up being on a pay-per-view, I feel like we kind of follow the same path where Darby just either is in a tag team match and does crazy stuff, is by himself and does crazy stuff. The commonality is he does crazy stuff before pay-per-view matches. So I love Johnny TV though. Johnny TV is great. Yeah. I love him so much. And I'm just Johnny's just out here living his best life. I'm that good on you, Johnny TV. I want to see more for you. But hey, you know what? He's cool with what he's doing, and he gets to wrestle people on AEW. So I'm not mad at all of that.
Yep.
But
so immediately after this match, Darby does reiterate his open challenge at Wrestle Dream, to which a very angry Brody King comes and answers the call. So yeah.
Is Brody King ever not angry though?
I mean, fair.
I'm like,
So we are going to be getting Brody Darby at Wrestle Dream.
Sure.
Anything to add?
No, look, I think the match is going to be fun. I'm just like, okay. I was like, we could have used this to debut someone, but who knows? We might still debut someone, and this is all a ruse.
Right.
Well, then it makes me even more mad that if Brody versus Darby doesn't actually happen, now I'll actually be kind of mad.
Right.
I mean, this match is going to be great because Darby and Brody have always had great matches the last couple times they've gone at it. But I'm just like, okay, we could have had Darby versus Danielson, but it's whatever, man.
Yep, it's whatever. However, this leads us into one, in my opinion, one of the top promos of the year. No notes.
So good.
FT Runner's spot.
Very good.
Oh my god, it was so amazing.
So good.
10 out of 10, no notes.
10 out of 10, no notes.
10 out of 10, no notes. And I can
and
say
if you haven't seen it,
do it.
Find it on YouTube, find it on Instagram. Just blonde mustache Dax Harwood. All I gotta say.
The fact that they let him bleach his mustache was insane and makes me love FTR even more. First of all, and I can say this because I'm part of the community, but FTR, this is the gayest thing you have ever done in AEW. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Not mad.
I was just like, be our androgynous allies. We love.
Yep.
I could not stop laughing because the running joke here, especially when it comes to Dax, is he is one bearskin rug away from being AEW's Burt Reynolds. And then he literally went there when he bleached his mustache in this promo.
Yep.
I was just like, I love it. It was great.
But this does lead us into our next match, which is Outrunners versus the Grizzled Young Vets. Which
oh my God, so good.
Yeah, which the first time they met, Outrunners got squashed. But not this time. The Outrunners come up with the W on this. And it was so entertaining. Yo, that slamorama, I'm calling it that slamorama, where it was just slam after slam after slam after slam after slam. So good. What'd you think of the match?
I'm so glad we got a win for the Outrunners.
Right?
I love them so much.
So good. Mikey, what'd you think? Outrunners with the W.
I was pleasantly shocked that the Outrunners actually got a win. And, I was texting Jesse, one of our other hosts who does Ring of Honor with me, about this. And, we were going back and forth with it, talking about it. But Outrunners got 2 wins this week. They beat the Infantry on Ring of Honor on Thursday, and then they beat the Grizzled Young Vets on Saturday. I'm like, listen here, Tony Khan. I don't know what your plans are, but this is what I need you to do. I need you to have Private Party beat the Bucks at Wrestle Dream, become the new tag champs, and then let's have the Outrunners and Private Party feud. I'm here for all of this. Give it to me now.
Now, Mikey, I do want to ask you, because I know that you are and JVL are both big Grizzled Young Vets fans. Dare I say stans, as the kids say. Do you think that the corner was turned on the Grizzled Young Vets too soon? Because they were like building up with the whole FTR thing, and that they were going for the belts, and now it seems like that's kind of been like reined back. How are you feeling on where the Grizzled Young Vets are sitting right now in AEW?
I think it's a little early to kind of tell, but you're absolutely right, because when they were brought in at All In, they attacked FTR, but they also put the Bucks on notice. So that was 2 potential feuds. And I thought we were going to go there with them, but then it turned into like they kind of did, which then turned into the 10-man tag. Like before, what was it? All Out, I think, or something, whatever it was. It's been a lot of wrestling the last couple of weeks. But then they had this match, and then, they lost, but they won the 10-man. And, this is interesting, which, as much as I love FTR runners as a faction, like I love FTR and the Outrunners being a thing, like I think it's fantastic. I think what's kind of not helping is that you had Dax of all people get pinned in that 10-man. So that's a lot, because FTR rarely gets pinned like that in these types of matches. Then you have the Outrunners kind of come for retribution, and I'm glad they won. But I feel that Tony kind of threw away the original plan for GYV, and now they're kind of just being put on television to just have matches to have matches, which is great and everything. But I said this to when we were reviewing Dynamite. If what Tony said was true and he doesn't believe in long-term booking or storytelling and it's going to be a week-to-week thing, we're going to have a lot of problems, especially since this roster is still huge. And if you don't have a plan of what you're going to utilize your talent for, I'm afraid that GYV is going to continue to fall further and further into obscurity in this roster. And they've not even been here a whole month.
Yeah.
It hurts because I look at Ricochet and what he's done in a month to GYV, and it's like, it's not the same. People still don't like tag team wrestling, and I don't know why, Tony Khan. But I'm a little worried for our boys of fish and chips over here.
All righty. So then next we have a Britt Baker DMD spot where she's calling out Mariah May. Very interesting. It's like a video package, but Britt had a voiceover on it. It's a video package that I have not seen AEW do. I enjoyed it though. So I'm definitely here for Britt Baker to make it to Mariah May and see what's going to happen with that. So next we had a conglomeration spot. No notes. It was your stereotypical conglomeration spot. Willow was there. She said a few words. Then she went out because she had to wrestle Trish Adora, and then Mark Briscoe's over everyone, and they leave. So no notes. This does bring us into our next match, which was Willow Nightingale versus Trish Adora. I want to give Trish Adora her flowers. She's such a good wrestler.
Yes.
Such a good wrestler.
I love her.
Oh, man. And she paired so well with Willow. Willow does end up with the win. She does get the babe with the power and does end up pinning Trish Adora. But before we move on, like they work so well together. What do you think?
I mean, anytime I get a chance to see Trish Adora on my screen, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I know I want her to get a win, but I know right now they're just pulling her up to Collision, and she's not gonna get the win. But she's so good. She's really so good, and I thought she was a really good opposition for Willow.
Yeah. Trish Adora's German suplexes, I think, are the most beautiful German suplexes in the industry.
Stunning.
Fight me. I will die on that hill. But yeah,
she gets like right on her TV show.
Yes. So so beautiful.
I'm telling you, but yeah, so New Japan Dojo training is killing it for Trish, and I love it.
Right. But then afterwards, we do have Mariah May at ringside watching the match. So when the match is over, Willow does go to say some words to Mariah May. Mariah May then mushes the belt into Willow's face, to which Willow whoops that ass. Holy wow.
Remind me never to make Willow angry, because girl will throw you across the world.
Right? I mean, it ended with Mariah May like running for her damn life. It was wow. So that was fun to watch. That was definitely fun to watch. It's interesting to see that Mariah May's reign is not as like concrete as she makes it out to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then this moves us to a sad Wheeler Yuta spot. But before he can really get into whatever he was going to get into, we have Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, and Pac come in. They start to talk some trash, but Claudio does the whole bzz, bzz, and tells Marina Shafir and Pac to disappear, and we have a little heart to heart with Yuta and Claudio.
I loved this spot.
It was good. Yeah. I honestly didn't think it was going to be good. It was good.
It was good. Like Yuta is putting in so much work.
Yeah.
This
For
is the
this
best
story.
that characters like character work has been since he's been a part of AEW, and I love that we actually have a character for him, and this was perfect.
Yeah,
and
and he's really been putting the work. He's really been putting the work in. Like this is really incredible character work, and
It
I'm
is.
here for it.
I love that Claudio in this little bit too is like the justified antagonist.
Yes.
Because what he said, I was like, I know you're in the wrong, Claudio, but your reasoning also makes me agree with you in a way as well. I was like, you're not necessarily wrong. So it's one of those things it's like, is this group going to be with Mox and all of them? Is this a group that the ends justify the means type of thing? It's just like, we're doing this because we have to, and we'll become the villains of the story, and that's okay with us. And that's what it seems that's the direction we're heading. And if that is the case, I think I will be more on board with this faction. But it's been kind of a mishmash of how we're getting to that reveal. That's kind of been a little messy the last couple of weeks. But you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think because Wheeler is so invested in this storyline and is putting everything behind this character, it's making me like root for Danielson. And honestly, AEW has the potential to make Wheeler an amazing babyface underdog. And AEW doesn't have a lot of those right now. Darby has always been it, but I think Wheeler can be added out into that mix where we can have another babyface underdog. Wheeler is doing really great with this character where I love it.
I want to send a shout out to Claudio Castagnoli though, because for as good as Wheeler was in this spot, Claudio played off really well with the energy that Wheeler was giving. And I know that it seemed very just like, stoic and very like Claudio, he didn't show any emotion, but like, I don't know, there was still the delivery of his lines. And like you said, like when he justified what he was doing, it was like, it was there. Yeah. It was very engaging. And like, I fear it's going to come to blows with Wheeler and Claudio, and that's going to make me cry. So, then this leads us to our next spot where Mariah May is with Lexi Nair backstage, and she can't believe blah blah blah, and Chris Daniels comes out and announces that Willow and Britt Baker are going to be wrestling tonight on Tuesday night, and the winner is going to go on to wrestle Mariah at Wrestle Dream on Saturday. So that was that.
Cool.
Mariah May was not happy. So this leads us to our next match, which pitted Wheeler Yuta against Beef, which
Beef. I love Beef so much.
He's so over with the crowd too. They love him too.
Oh man, him and Anthony Henry are doing amazing work on ROH because it's fantastic.
Yeah.
This was a fantastic match. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yuta does win. I feel like this was because this is the second time that they've wrestled. But I feel like this was a better match than the first time that they wrestled. We did have Mox and crew in the audience watching what was going on. Wheeler does win by submission. He doesn't go. He doesn't get triggered like he did in the first match, which I rather that he didn't do that. He did look after he submitted Beef. He did look like he had some resentment for what he did, but whatever, it's okay. Then we go to another backstage spot with Lexi Nair and Hook, where Hook calls out whoever attacked Taz.
Still can't act to save his life.
Shrug.
No, can't.
Yeah. Yep. So after that, we had a video package recounting the Ricochet Ospreay Takeshita match from Dynamite and how that's going to be a match come Wrestle Dream. Which then this brings us again to the conglomeration, Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy with Rocky Romero, Americanized Rocky Romero, against the Premier Athletes. I feel like this is a weekly occurrence.
If you've seen one conglomeration Premier Athletes match, you've seen them all. I'm sorry. This is still... I'm just like, why? Why are we doing this? It was funny when Mark Sterling got beat up. Like when he substituted in for Josh Woods earlier in the week, and it was Premier. This happened on Ring of Honor, right? It was Dustin and the Von Erichs with the taking on Smart Mark Sterling, Tony Nese, and Arya Daivari. And watching Smart Mark get his ass beat was hilarious. This was not as fun because we've seen this match like 50 times already.
Yep. And conglomeration gets the win. So there we go. Then we get a Lance Archer spot.
Everybody dies and whip.
Everyone dies. The only funny thing about this spot that made it entertaining was Don Callis just kind of like coming in from off screen and being like, "Excuse me, don't mean to interrupt your workout.
I know you're about to die, but
right. Are you still being represented by Jake Roberts?" And Lance Archer like throws someone against a trailer. He's like, "Yes," and Don Callis like, "Okay," and then he like walks off. That was like,
where is Jake the Snake Roberts? That's what I want to know.
Right, and what the frick are we doing with this Lance Archer thing?
What the flipper dude? He's been attacking people for like the last 3 months, and we don't. And they're still trying to figure out: do we want him with the Righteous? Do we not? I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. So next we go to a backstage with Lexi Nair. She's with Mercedes Moné and Camille, and in a little flippy dip, Chris Statlander interrupts Camille, and as she walks off, gives a shoulder, a little
shoulder check. I was like, oh, Camille. The alarm went off for me. I was like, spoiler alert, 2 bad bitches are about to fight soon, and I'm here for it.
Right. So this brings us to our next match, which was Hologram versus Aggro Action Andretti versus Nick Wayne versus Commander. Lot of fun, lot of energy. Hologram comes out with the win. He is now 13-0, I think.
That's what they said.
Yeah. So what'd you think, Mikey?
There was so much that went on this match. Like, I tried to write notes for this and I gave up because like every 5 milliseconds something was going down. I thought this was a fun match for sure, and it definitely was the energy boost that the night definitely needed because the crowd was so hyped. And honestly, I feel like you picked the best 4, and all of them are all fairly young too. So I'm like, these are your future high flyers that are about to kill it. Like, Hologram is awesome. Commander we know is great. I love seeing Nick Wayne actually get more time to wrestle because I feel like he is just like
underutilized,
like a prop for the patriarchy along with Killosaurus. But then seeing wrestle, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot how good he actually is in the ring. And then of course, I kind of like this Aggro Action Andretti that we got going on.
I was gonna ask what y'all thought about Aggro Action Andretti.
So I think I like it because, like I said, when it comes to my wrestling, whether it's for a championship or not, depending on who the opponent is, there has to be a sense of urgency. Like, all right, like Orange Cassidy, we know he can, like, he's one of the few that can keep it like very laissez-faire. Like, I'm gonna keep it cool, but then Orange kicks it into the next gear. He's like, oh, okay, I'm not taking you lightly, so let me actually get this in. Action is slowly getting there where now he went from the stupid water bottle spot. He's a little bit aggro. I think he's spending too much time with Hangman. So we got to tone down a little bit.
No.
But Action is now wrestling like there is stakes and reputations and things like that. And we kind of have been seeing this evolve because Action, and Leo took on House of Black last week. They lost, and that's still not sitting right with Action. And then we see it later in our main event too. Action's not done with House of Black, so
we're gonna get there.
It's gonna be great. But Action is done being the sidekick, and he's ready to kick butt and take names. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm here for that.
Yep. Next, we get a backstage spot with Lexi and our sponsor Frank Mortos, attorney at law, Roar Grumble Grar. And lo and behold, who shows up with the Undisputed? The Undisputed, they're angry because they think that the Beast Mortos has chosen someone else other than the Undisputed Kingdom, and they want the Beast Mortos to be with them. I thought this was a fun spot. I thought this was really great. All it would, Beast Mortos, he was just like, and he was like conflicted, and the Undisputed Kingdom is like, you can't fist bump with them. You're still under retainer, I thought it was a fun spot.
It's really interesting that even though they were angry, it kind of seems that Undisputed Kingdom is now leaning more face, which is kind of an interesting turn, especially since Beast Mortos seems to have aligned himself with the heel Rush and Dralistico to reform LFI. So a face Undisputed Kingdom might actually be what they need to kind of keep their momentum going, because we saw it this week on Ring of Honor too.
Do we think that we are going to see an Undisputed Kingdom LFI match for Beast Mortos?
Beast Mortos, like custody of Beast Mortos match?
No, I don't think so.
No, okay.
Hey, but you know what? If we get this newly formed LFI with these three versus Undisputed Kingdom, you can take my money. Take my money.
Fair.
Take everything from me. I will.
Not with Beast Mortos in the middle. It'll be he sides with LFI and Undisputed Kingdom fight.
All right.
So good.
So this brings us to our next match, which is Chris Statlander versus poor Zoe Lynn again. Who gets just...
All girl is getting the work in because she was on Rampage and
she got work. What are you talking? Dude, she got lumped.
Well, on top of that too, she also poor girl was also
carried her around.
I will say, Chris Statlander showed off her power, absolute power, because she freaking pressed Zoe Lynn.
Chris so much. She's so
Camille
good.
Did not press Zoe Lynn.
No, she did not. We're one-upping, and I love
Zoe
it.
Lynn. But then after this squash match, we Mercedes Moné and Camille come out. Mercedes Moné said some words, then tells Camille to sick.
Yep, let's see it.
Sick. And Camille and Chris go at it. Camille gets the upper hand. And leaves Chris to beat up, but not like knocked out or anything like that. So I'm excited to see the big muscle mommies wrestle.
Give it to me now, Tony.
That's right. So this leads us to our next backstage segment. Darby Allin addressing Brody King.
Makes it official.
That's it. Yeah. Then we have an Emi Sakura video package.
Yes,
we're going to be
girl.
getting versus Mercedes Moné for the NJPW title.
For both of them, it's for the New Japan and the AEW TBS Championship.
Ooh, I didn't know it was for both of them. Nice. But yeah, so that was that, which leads us to our main event. where we had the House of Black, Buddy and Malachi, versus Top Flight with Layla Gray and Private Party. And hey, Private Party, 3 wins in a row.
They won on every single show that week. And just to also clarify too, this was a number 1 contenders match. Winners would go to face the Bucks at Wrestle Dream for the titles. And our boys, the Private Party, did it. Yep. But there was some also really great storytelling in here because Buddy and Malachi not on the same page. That was wild to see. And then Action coming in. He wants a piece of the House of Black still. Everybody's like, no, bro, you cannot do this.
Yep.
Honestly, it's Top Flight and House of Black is actually a feud I'd actually like to see.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if they trio it with Top Flight and Action Andretti versus the full House of Black. Yes, sir.
Or if they want to, if Action is getting too hype for them, honestly, also a really fun combination would be Darius and Dante with Leo Rush versus House of Black. Leo versus Brody King would be amazing because I've seen their independent and New Japan stuff. It is so good.
Yep. And that was your AEW Collision for this week, peoples. It was a very good show. And I thought that it set up for Wrestle Dream. So, which now we're going to talk about our Wrestle Dream picks.
We will. So really quickly, I'm going to give this week's AEW a 7 out of 10 for me. Rampage and Collision were fun. Dynamite was okay. And also made me like almost have an aneurysm. But I need to get the slides set up for our Wrestle Dream prediction. So enjoy this little 10-second dance break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah. Here we go.
I don't even know what happened.
I love it. It was great. But now we are going to conclude this review, and we're going to quickly go over our Wrestle Dream predictions. At the time of this recording, because Title Tuesday is still going on right now, so we do not have the final card, but these are the matches that have been confirmed, and then we'll talk and speculate about the other matches we're going to get. So, the final...
And it is AEW, and AEW is notorious for adding matches
the day of
very end.
So we're going to actually start because they pre-announced this last week, but we have one match currently scheduled for 0 hours. So we'll go through 0 hour and we'll go through the main card and make our predictions. The AEW crew will be getting the final form probably Friday or Saturday morning with the completed card. So we could do our predictions league, which more information and review of that will come on our review. But let's start with 0 hour because we have an ROH World Television Championship match of all things on 0 hour, where Atlantis Jr. will be defending his ROH World TV Championship against the Swolverine and Adolfo's baby daddy, Brian Cage. Okay, Adolfo's going to get mad at me for saying this. I love Atlantis Jr. He is fantastic in CMLL, but when I tell you I am rooting and I'm picking Brian Cage, I'm rooting for Cage so hard to win this. I would love this. Cage is ready for a singles championship. Give this man a title.
I'm right here with you with that. I think if Brian Cage won, that would be awesome. I'd be very happy for him to get that belt.
Cool. Alice, any thoughts, predictions? Who you want to pick?
Pick Atlantis Jr.
I honestly think this match is going to be great because Brian Cage has worked Brian Cage was on Lucha Underground, for goodness sake, so we know he can work well with luchadors. So I think this match is actually going to be really cool, but I'm pulling for Brian to win this one.
Yeah, I actually feel that this match is going to be super entertaining. It's going to be if it is like the first match for 0 hour, I feel like it's going to be a great segue into Wrestle Dream because Brian Cage, underrated big man. He's got great moves, great agility. I think that he's going to be able to keep up with Atlantis Jr. and get that belt.
Next. So we're going to work our way backwards. We're going to start with the most recent to the oldest announced match. So this is going to be an interesting thing. So let's start with the most recent one we got, which is going to be, it will eventually load up, but we'll talk about it. There we go. So the most recent match that officially got a graphic was the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the Young Bucks, aka the EVPs, are putting their titles on the line against the number one contender winners from Collision, which is Private Party. Oh my God, is that Private Party?
Private Party.
I don't care if this ruins my prediction record. I am going with the Private Party here. I want them to win so bad. So I'm going to go with, oh my God, is that Private Party? Because I think Brother Zay and Mark Quinn are long overdue for a championship title run. So I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I am picking Private Party to become your new AEW World Tag Team champs.
Same. And on social media, Matt Hardy is rooting for Private Party too.
Yes. I want them to win so bad. This is the perfect chance to pull the Acclaim 2.0 and have them win because everybody's behind them.
Yep.
I want Private Party to win. I'm afraid that they won't, but I want them to.
We're all rooting for Private Party here, man. And I think everybody else in our crew is also rooting for Private Party as well. So, Private Party, we hope you win this one on Saturday. I would love nothing more than that. Now, next match. So, again, we can't really talk about storylines because we've only really built these matches up for the last week and a half or so. But on paper, this actually should be a pretty good match. Now, for the TNT Championship, we have the scapegoat, Jack Perry, defending his title against Katsuyori Shibata. As much as I would love to see Katsuyori Shibata take the TNT Championship and go on a run with it, I am going to be picking our scapegoat, Jack Perry, to retain this championship.
Yep.
The match itself, I think, is actually going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah. No, the match it's going to be a great match. But yeah, I too am going to go with Jack Perry to retain.
Jack Perry will retain.
Fantastic. So, next up, again, on paper, this should be a pretty fun match. I've just hated how we got here.
Yes.
So, Darby Allin's open challenge has now turned into Darby Allin versus Brody King. It still could be an open challenge where we get somebody else coming in. But if that's the case, then I actually will be kind of upset. But for right now, we're going to get Darby Allin versus Brody King. I love Brody, but you can't have the hometown boy lose. So I'm going with Darby on this one. Since Swerve is not back yet, Darby is the only Washington native outside of Bryan that you have. So one of the native boys has to win. So Darby's winning this one, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with Darby.
Yeah, especially after that whole the spot on Collision where Darby was like, I've never pinned Brody King. Like, I feel that was too much of a...
It was very heavy-handed.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Brody.
We love you, Brody. We really do. But unfortunately, we got to go with Darby. We got to go with Darby on this one.
Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna be mad if we have 30 minutes of Brody King whooping on Darby,
and then last 3 seconds.
In the last 3 seconds, Darby coffin drops and gets a pin. That's all I'm saying.
Make it more back and forth. We know Darby can go back and forth with the right opponent, so let's do it. And honestly, since these two have worked together numerous amount of times before, I'm not too worried about that one. Now, I wish this wasn't the match that we were getting. I wish Mark was defending it against somebody else, but here we are. So for the ROH World Championship, Mark Briscoe will be defending his title against Chris Jericho. My logic tells me that Tony Khan will allow Chris Jericho to become a 2-time ROH World Champion, and then also taking him from the Ocho to the Nueve, as he has said it before. But out of spite, I am picking Mark Briscoe because I am holding on to hope, trust, and a duct tape of a little bit of fairy dust. My hope is being held on by fairy dust and duct tape. I'm picking Mark Briscoe because you cannot pay me enough to pick Jericho in any capacity. I don't care if it ruins my predictions record. I'm going with Mark Briscoe out of spite.
Yep, Briscoe.
I don't want Jericho to have that title. He can get lost. Mark Briscoe.
Kick rocks. Get lost in the woods,
Kick
Jericho.
rocks. Chris Jericho.
All right. Next. Again, we wrote ourselves into a corner here, and I'm mad because this match is actually probably going to be fire.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be a good match.
I'm going to melt in my seat, but I'm also going to yell because somebody is losing this match. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be Takeshita. Again, can we just like not let Takeshita lose these big ones? But see, here's the thing, because honestly, this is the only match that I'm not sure which way it's going to really go. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Ricochet is winning here. So no, he's not. But now I really can't decide between Will and Takeshita because honestly, definitely I can see Will retaining, but I can also see Takeshita winning if we get an interference from like Kyle Fletcher or somebody, because Kyle's still kind of mad at Ospreay for losing the tag team championship match at Grand Slam. Oh man. Okay. I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to go with Takeshita on this one. I think Takeshita is your new international championship. And if he gets pinned, Tony Khan, I'm going to be mad at you. Let Takeshita have a championship. I think he is well deserved it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Takeshita.
This match is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be a fantastic match. Takeshita, I feel, is going to walk out with the gold.
But it's really tough.
Time.
I'm stuck
time
between him and Will.
It's time.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Will. I think Will Ospreay is gonna retain. I think there's gonna be shenanigans, but I think he's gonna end up retaining.
Regardless, though, I honestly, right now, this is probably my most anticipated match of the night. I'm looking forward to this the most because these three are about to kill it. Will and Takeshita had a banger at Revolution. Ricochet, we know, can go. So the mixture of these three is going to be fantastic.
It'll be interesting if Takeshita wins and then this sets off a Ricochet Takeshita feud.
That would be awesome too. And then Kyle and Will can go at it for a little bit, which would also be equally epic as well. Alrighty, so as of right now, before we speculate what other matches we're getting, this is definitely being our main event of the evening, which I wish it wasn't Mox in this position, but, you know, I can't keep complaining about it right now. But we hit for the AEW World Championship, Bryan Danielson is defending his title against the leader of Switchblade Conspiracy, Jon Moxley. There are so many ways this can go. I can't believe I'm going to say this, and I hate that I'm saying this, but I think Mox is going to beat Danielson, and this is where we say goodbye to Danielson, where he retires. I think this is where he retires.
Well, that's not a surprise. We have been talking about this. I mean, the wrestling community at large has been talking about this, that, you know, Wrestle Dream was where everyone thinks Bryan Danielson is going to be retired,
which is why I don't think that's going to happen, and I put Bryan Danielson retaining.
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think either one of these men is walking out of Washington with that championship, because prop bet here, I think Christian Cage is going to come in and cash in and become the champion. Yep. So, but for the sake of it, I'm gonna go with Mox beating Danielson, but prop bet is I think Christian Cage cashes in successfully here at Wrestle Dream.
I see that. Yep, I see that.
Alrighty. So now that we talked about most of these, let's speculate, because we don't have a single women's match yet made for Wrestle Dream, which is kind of nuts. But we do know what is going to be going down for the most part. So let's talk about and speculate about our two women's matches. So let's talk about first what probably we know is going to happen. Mariah May is going to be defending her title against Wrestle Dream. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think it's gonna be Willow versus Mariah at Wrestle Dream. So
I think it's gonna be Willow.
Now, with that being said, I love Willow Nightingale, but I'm pretty sure between Willow and Mariah, I'm gonna pick Mariah to win. I think Mariah is too early in her run to lose this championship.
Yes.
So I am picking Mariah over Willow. And then what's a little less confirmed, because we don't know if that's the case, but honestly, I would prefer to see Camille versus Chris at Wrestle Dream. I would not be surprised if AEW does Mercedes versus Chris at Wrestle Dream. Regardless. Now, if it's Camille versus Chris, I think Chris beats Camille. But if it's Mercedes versus Chris, Mercedes beats Chris with the help of Camille.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it'll be Chris versus Camille with the stipulation if Chris Statlander wins, then she'll get to wrestle Mercedes Moné. And who knows? Maybe Chris Camille will be a 0-hour match. Then Chris wins and wrestles Mercedes Moné in the actual show.
That would be interesting for sure. Oh, does anyone want any spoilers for Title Tuesday? Not in terms of who wins, but just a twist that they decided to do last minute.
Just go ahead. What we got?
So the match between Britt and Willow is no longer 1-on-1. It became a fatal 4-way.
Oh my!
So now I gotta watch Title Tuesday to figure out what the fuck happened.
Right.
Hold on.
Okay,
we should pause that whole conversation.
Okay, so the fatal 4-way. It is now Britt Baker versus Willow Nightingale versus Nyla Rose versus Jamie Hayter.
Jeebus.
Okay.
Why can't that match be on
Forget having a championship match at Wrestle Dream. Right? That match should have happened at Wrestle Dream to determine Mariah's next opponent.
Damn.
Now I gotta watch Title Tuesday. I'm not sleeping tonight. Or I'll probably watch it tomorrow. We'll figure it out. But that's gonna be it for us here at All Elite Ensemble. So you can check all of us out again this upcoming Monday as we review Wrestle Dream. We will not be having a watch along for Wrestle Dream, but our group chat will be blowing up.
Yes.
Because it's about to get buck wild. And we also did get a confirmation that Mr. Swear Strickland will be returning in some capacity at Wrestle Dream, which makes sense. It's Washington. So, but from myself and the team of Just A&A, remember, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, but more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. You can catch us tomorrow for a double header of NXT and later in the evening CMLL. But until then, sayonara, adios, and Billy Stark's outro. We'll see you later.